Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about one of the newest Disney animated movies, Encanto. Encanto follows the Madrigal family, specifically Mirabel, voiced by Stephanie Beatriz, as she struggles to find her meaning in a family that's full of magical powers while she herself doesn't have any. Encanto is directed by Brian Howard and Jared Bush, who have done movies like Tangled and Zootopia and Moana, and they've worked on movies together as well. I saw pretty minimal advertising for this movie, but seeing as I love Disney and Pixar animated movies, I thought I would check this one out. And man, am I glad that I did. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. The plot of this movie follows Mirabel as she finds herself in a family that's full of superpowers while she herself doesn't bring anything to the table, which would be a very difficult situation to be in. But she starts noticing certain things around their house that imply that the power behind the house and the family is fading. And while she tries to warn other members of her family, she ultimately ends up setting out on her own to try and figure out what's going on and see if she can save the power of Encanto and the Madrigal family. Through this, she ends up discovering a lot about herself and the other members of her family, things that she did not know before and that they weren't aware of either. There were a lot of ways they could have gone with this plot, and I love the way that they decided to execute it on screen. Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, they do a great job of establishing the history behind the Madrigal family and the power of the Encanto house and community. This movie is a musical, so they're able to do a lot of exposition with the music, which just adds to the beauty of movies like this. The journey that Mirabel goes on from the beginning of the movie to the end, and all the interactions she has with others and the underlying messages of this movie are all played out really well through a really solid plot, which ultimately is Mirabel's search for deeper meaning behind the supernatural abilities of her own family, which is pretty great when you think about it. So plot gets a thumbs up. 2 is family friendliness. Like all of the other animated Pixar and Disney movies, this one falls into the category of absolutely family friendly. It's fun, it's got bright colors, it's actually funny both for adults and children, the content is safe, and the big moral messages behind this film are excellent. The underlying message of you mattering and you being special no matter your abilities or how other people view you is such a positive message that this is easily a show that both you and your kids can watch without any fear of poor content. So family friendliness gets a huge thumbs up. 3 is acting and script. Since this movie is animated, I'll be judging it based on voice acting. The voice acting in this movie was amazing. You can really tell that the actors and actresses are very animated in their voices, and that paired with the animation that they have plays really well out on the screen. I especially liked the voice acting for Dolores Madrigal, played by Adassa, and Luisa Madrigal, played by Jessica Darrow. All of the small interactions that they had with Mirabel were really well done, and their voices matched what they had the characters do, and it paired really nicely on screen. Because I'm judging voice acting though, there is one thing I have to address, and that's the singing. The singing in this movie was not that impressive. That may sound really harsh, but in an animated movie that is a musical, it kind of is one of the selling points of the musical is to have some pretty incredible vocal performances. But I felt that in this movie, that wasn't the case. Whereas if you name every single other animated Disney movie, you know that there's a song that you can pull from it. In this one, barring Bruno, no. Wait. There isn't really a song that stood out to me as being amazing. To be honest, I didn't even know Stephanie Beatriz could sing until I think there was a musical episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where I was like, oh, she can sing decently. But to be the lead actress of a musical movie, I didn't think it was that level, and what we ended up hearing wasn't that great of vocal performances. I think that probably the best vocal performance we ended up getting is from Isabella, played by Diane Guerrero. Her musical piece was really good, but other than that, the vocal performances here were not that amazing. But everything else about the acting in this movie, the voice acting and the decent singing, was great. So I have to give acting a thumbs up. The script of this movie was fantastic. It plays a lot into the plot and the character development, but the dialogue between characters is clever. The social situations of the town folk and the Madrigals is great as well. They did a really good job with the script. So overall, acting and script gets a thumbs up. 4 is character development. Here's what I really loved the most about this movie. Part of Mirabel's journey is connecting with each member of her family. And through this, they're able to provide incredible character development, not only for Maribel, but also for the rest of her family. The relationships between her and her sisters, and her grandma, and her mother are all developed by these interactions that she has with them. And they almost each have a scene where their character development is really shown. It's like it all flows together naturally, and it's beautiful. But through her connections with each of her family members, she's able to find out that they all have insecurities of their own, even with their powers. And this presents itself in different ways. So she's slowly able to learn that everyone has these insecurities, but also that everyone is so much more than what they're giving themselves credit for. So the character development of this movie was fantastic, and it showed a lot of heart and a great message. So character development gets a huge thumbs up. 5 is CG, or animation. Per the norm, the animation in this Disney movie is fantastic. What stood out to me the most actually happened in a musical number between Maribel and Luisa, but it also showed up several other times throughout the film. There is some animation in this movie that reminds me of The Road to El Dorado, and that is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. So the fact that I saw some similarities between it made me love this movie even more. The animation is top notch, and the facial expressions that you see with each of these characters mixed with their voice actors and actresses, it's just very well done. They did an excellent job with animation, and I expect nothing less. So CG animation gets a huge thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. You come to the end of this film with a warm feeling in your heart, and that's something that I haven't gotten with a movie in a long time. It seems like there are so many other messages that directors and movies are tempted to include that distract from something as simple as just a movie with good moral values that says you are more than what you think. So when I arrived at the end of this movie, I immediately was like, I want to watch this movie again. It leaves me with a great feeling. It has a great message. It's funny, it's adventurous, and it has some pretty awesome characters in it. I definitely see myself watching this movie again sometime soon. So rewatchability gets a huge thumbs up. I did not see this movie coming, but after my wife suggested that we watch it, and I did end up watching it, this movie took me by surprise. Factoring in the fact that the vocal performances weren't top-notch, I have to give Encanto an 8.5 out of 10. It's been a long time since we've seen a movie like this come along and a realistic but positive family dynamic included at the end. And Encanto did a fantastic job of encapsulating all of these things. With that being said, I definitely think that Encanto is worth your time watching. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Encanto, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. We're now at 57 subscribers, which is still a big deal to me. As always, thank you so much for your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.